So let's see. If Brandon's not here, who's the secretary?
Brandon's gonna be here.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Yes, Melissa said.
Right.
I'll turn that off when.
It is kind of loud, isn't it?
Yeah. Won't hear anything on the recording but that.
Oh,
Yeah, that can be really tough. I couldn't really get any of that marijuana meeting from a few weeks ago. I don't know if the AC unit was on that night, but you couldn't hear anything. Almost nothing. It was really super faint.
yeah, no, that wasn't on. That wasn't on then. And it did turn out at the planning commission meeting that Alex's microphone was off. That's why, I mean, he kept moving in close. And so I'm like, well, it's not Alex that they're missing. It's gotta be someone else that they were missing. And no, it was Alex.
Yeah.
He had been messing with the thing.
Oh, yeah, because I made sure they were all on
Mhm.
after I set it up after the election.
I wouldn't even know where the switch is.
That one doesn't have a switch. Neither does that one.
Yeah, we have 3 newer ones that don't have switches.
So what's the cool colors?
I'm having trouble pulling it up, which I'm not happy with. But
You said
my,
it's at 8 o'clock. We could just pause for a moment then and
oh, that's-
show it.
this is ordering my Dixon shirt. Don't worry, I won't miss it. But it's not ran out of power. I wonder if I should just get out of it and try it again. I bet you that's all right.
Well, hello, Melissa. Can you hear us?
What is a quorum? How many do we need for a quorum?
3. See, she's not going to count toward a quorum
Right.
being on.
Right, but
I am unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Well, there you are.
Yeah, she can't participate either. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
She can't even talk.
No,
not during the
Oh.
meeting.
She can do a public
no,
comment.
she can't. Well,
Oh,
she could maybe do public comment, but
Who,
that's it.
Melissa?
yeah,
Oh, because they changed
yeah.
the stuff.
You guys are gonna make me not talk through the whole meeting. Oh man, this is gonna be lovely.
We're gonna mute you if you try to. Possible.
Sorry, I'm dirty.
No, we'd love to have you talk, but those are the rules.
So you have a public comment at the beginning and at the end.
Alrighty.
So that you're dirty? Because you don't look.
Yeah, I didn't get time to go change. I got off the tractor and I looked and I'm like, oh man, I gotta be there in 10 minutes.
And you did.
Everybody ready? Call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock.
Melton. No.
Sort of.
And Hubble,
Here,
Butler, here, Cosgrove,
here.
Slopesima, here.
Does anybody need to adjust any of the agenda? No. Conflict of interest. Don't hear anybody. Public comment? Melissa, if you got any public comment, you're the only public today.
No, Tom's on.
Um,
This Tom.
so I probably have public comment, but I guess I don't feel like I should say it now. I mean, I think Brandon, I think you have most of the information that, and between that and the packet, so I guess I'll hold off until the end.
Okay. All right. Which Tom's on?
I don't know. It just says Tom.
Is this, it's you or no? Oh,
Tom, would you like to make public comment?
Okay. Moving on. Approval of March 14th minutes. Everybody get a chance to read that? I didn't yet.
So moved.
Okay.
She specifically reminded me to put them in the packet too. And then I forgot, so I had to resend them out later.
Sorry, I'm just looking quick. Anybody else want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, correspondence.
Vote.
Oh, we gotta vote.
We gotta vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have to also approve the April 11th, correct?
Yep, right.
Oh, shoot, I didn't even see that.
I'll make a motion, we accept them.
I'll second, but don't vote on it quite yet. This Vicky said she has a friend that will write grants. Has that been followed up on at all, or?
Yes. Well, I have her number.
I think them are good, Tom.
Yeah,
I read
I just wanted to glance at that.
All right. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. None opposed. All right, correspondence. Don't see anything on here. Reports, presentations, announcements, comments, nothing. Anybody else have anything?
Just that, and I don't think it was anywhere in the thing, but it's somewhere I got it from Melissa, that the American Trails Fund application has been submitted
Oh.
for the 2022 award cycle. It's the first one that they're doing.
Mhm.
They'll be making a determination on the 15th. They received a total of 292 applications requesting $3 million worth of funds, and they've got 50,000
Right.
available.
I read that.
Yeah, was that part of something that we had already gotten?
I got it in the board packet too.
I think
was-
it was attached in what you sent out.
Oh,
I thought it was in the board packet. Anyway,
It was in there too.
anyways, yes.
I do have a question about the April 11th minutes. Have we gotten any kind of confirmation on discussion of funding and projects? It says we seem to be a use it or lose it position now. Have we gotten any confirmation? Is that true? Is that false?
Well, this year, the rec plan budget took quite a hit because we have to pay for the cleanup of Battle Creek Natural Area and Lossy Road Nature Trails. from the storm damage.
But that was this year's budget. I thoroughly understand that. But if we had last year's budget, and if we had 10,000 allocated to someplace that has not been spent, is that taken away?
What happened is that was reallocated in this budget for the wet area on Lossy Trail and.
So that was taken away.
It was
That-
taken
That's
away.
all, I just wanted to know, so,
Yeah, I had it in there and then,
so we are
We tapped it.
under the pretenses, we use it or lose it for whatever year.
This year we were.
yeah,
Or that you use it, or it could get reallocated.
Right, so, right,
You're losing it still.
yeah, so any project that we might do, then we have to basically go into it with the idea is if we're allocated, we better spend it that year.
Done, yeah.
I
The
just
only
wanted-
thing we've got funding for this year is the dugouts, right? Some funding.
dugouts, electronic locks at High Prairie Park. I mean, there's other repair and maintenance items in there, but the big items.
The only thing on our project list was the dugouts, I think, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's under the park fund. Tom was, I think, talking
Yeah.
about rec fund.
Right, I was talking about the rec fund. So in the rec fund, there is money there that for the dugouts that we can spend.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
I have a packet and I have it all laid out in the board packet for tomorrow's meeting with a budget. And in fact, let me just pull that out real quick. The budget changed, but it's not much more than what was approved a couple of years ago.
So
So,
Cheryl, that's under unfinished business. Maybe we can cover that in just a second.
Well, okay, Tom was asking about it. but
yeah, I
Yeah, I'd
just,
be happy to cover that.
I just
think
wanted to
that's
be-
the next item.
Right, so I had a follow-up question to what Tom just brought up, is in that same discussion, and Cheryl, you weren't present at the last meeting. There was a question about park funds, and I've heard this said several times, but I don't know what the actual legal basis is for it, that park funds, I've heard it said it can only be used for activity or improvements at the park.
Per the auditors.
Okay, so.
The park fund was set up specifically to track the revenue and expenses only of Whitewater Township Park. The rec fund was set up to track the activities, revenues, there's not many, and expenses of the other 4 parks.
Okay, so was that something that Whitewater set that up, like the board set?
A
things
long
up that
time
way?
ago.
But I'm just clarifying, so
Yeah.
that's why that park money also stay separate
That's right.
from the other rec money and even from use anywhere else. It was a board action, not a state law or something like that.
Well, it probably had to do with accounting rules and regulations and stuff like that. We asked, 10 years ago, we asked the auditors if we could use money out of the park fund at any other park, and they said no, that is just for Whitewater Township Park. And trust me, there's no extra money there either. There really isn't. The park has many
I
needs.
mean, there has been in past years, but there isn't.
Well,
now.
the park has been setting aside money
Right.
as it's made some money, as it has had leftover funds past what it costs to run the park. And the park has been, that money just keeps adding to the fund balance. But trust me, we have projects beyond
Right.
that amount of money. So, and we've got the boat launch project and.
so the board could not decide to pull out money of that and buy a widget with it.
Unless it was for the
Not
park.
anywhere else in the township. No, it's
It
just for
sounds to me
Whitewater
like
Township
they
Park.
can't do that unless they would change something that's been established for a long time. But it doesn't sound like it's necessarily a state statute or.
And here again, all I
think it
know
had to do
is
with the
that
money,
that
where they
fund's
got the
been
money
set
for the
up
park.
for a very long time. The park's, been open for a very long time. People have been going to that park for 50 years. I don't know what year they established the actual park fund, but all I know is that the auditors have said that that money can't be used anywhere else in the township.
I'm happy with that.
No, I just don't understand. That's
Yeah.
all. I mean, no, I'm not disagreeing.
I'm just glad that it can't get spent on anything else. It has to go to improvements of that part.
I have no judgment either way. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get my arms wrapped
Right.
around that
How it
a
works.
township with elected AA officials with different pools of money can't tap one pool of money and bring in for their general fund. And that's what and the reason is because that's the way it's always been done.
That's the way it was set up. So that Whitewater Township Park, because that park has revenue,
I don't know.
where the other parks
I
don't.
understand that.
have
I just
revenue.
find it interesting that the township with its authority could not do that. I'm not saying that they would, but
They probably could if they wanted to change the structure.
Well,
or
you know,
whatever.
I'll be talking to the auditors soon. I can
I'm
ask them to explain it if you'd like. I can ask them to put it in writing even.
Well, I think it'd be
that's-
interesting to see where the document is.
what,
that
yeah, what,
Establishes that.
I would like to know what the accounting or legal foundation of that
Right.
actually is. I mean, I don't understand that.
See, I thought it had to
Period.
do with how they got the park and stuff from the state.
Now, that's a different deal, and that could be a state, see, that under the state rule versus,
That's the way I understood
I
it from
thought the
Carol.
park was leased from the state.
anyway, I'm not making an issue
No,
of
we
it.
have two
I'm just
deeds.
curious. That's
There
all.
are two deeds for the parks, for the 100 and some acres that is out there. And the deeds say, one of them says that it can only be used for a public park, and one of them says it can be used for a public park and forestry. So they can't ever be anything
But
else.
it got bought
will
from the
never
state?
be developed. I think for $1 or something like that. I'm not really sure what the, and if it
I just didn't know
were
if
ca-
it came from the state or the county. I didn't know.
Yeah, it came from the state.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any comments? Unfinished business, High Prairie dugouts.
So there's a large, not large, but there's a lot of pages in the packet, the board packet for tomorrow's meeting for the High Prairie Park dugouts. And basically, we had to get, the committee decided a while back to go with the wood dugouts. And so we went back to Lynn Bartosik. Of course, the cost of the materials went up, his labor went up. And so I worked up a budget. It's gonna be $2,000 for the engineered drawing. We may or may not have to pay for new construction permits. They said we've had a permit before. They might just piggyback on that permit, even though we're changing the contractor. And it's gonna be $8,542 for the wood materials and roof material and stuff through Preston Feather. We've got, Melissa got a quote for, that's less than that through Northern Building. Maybe that's what the board will go with. The fasteners, the fencing and fasteners, I set aside 1,000, his labor 6,500. And then I priced diamond dust 4 inches thick underneath both dugouts, and with delivery, that's gonna be $410. So that's a budget of $18,672. You might remember that in July of 2020, we had a cost estimate of like $14,325 or something like that, but we asked the board to set aside $18,000, and they did. So this is really only $672 more than what they set aside 2 years ago. And the baseball teams, they don't want concrete under the dugouts. They just want diamond dust under there. They don't want the concrete, so we nixed that. And I had just ballparked it at 15,000 in the budget, but then I'm canceling the purchase of a professional drag for 500. I took some money out of irrigation in the monument area. And then the wonderful news that we got is we had set aside $3,090 to get the lights fixed over there. And so we got a proposal for that from Shoreline Power Services. here just into Acme Township, and which was 3,767, but they are going to donate all of it. So, so that $3,090 that we had earmarked for the lights is going towards the dugouts. And so anyways, I found the money to do the dugouts without, you know, reaching into the general fund or anything like that, just kind of. So anyways, I don't know if you want to look at this or not. I
I'm just
got,
glad it might.
I got
get
the
done.
quotes in here, and what's that?
I'm just glad it might get
So
done.
the board didn't pull all of our budget.
No, no, not all
Everything
of
except for the
it. No,
dugouts.
No,
Okay, everything except for the dugouts.
well, I mean, no, there's money in there for repairs and maintenance and.
Well, I'm not counting maintenance.
Okay.
None of the other projects that we had are really funded. They
Right.
pretty much pulled everything except for general stuff.
So what it was is that,
And tree cleanup.
I had, yeah, I had, money in there for a couple different maintenance items. But then as far as capital expenditures, we had the dugouts, these electronic restroom locks, which we really do want to do over there so that the doors automatically unlock and lock. That's what a lot of parks are going to. But what did get canceled out of the budget was $25,000. Well, I shouldn't say cancel, put on hold for 1 year. The $25,000 for engineered plan and trail upgrades addressing the wet area at Lossy Road. And then trail evaluation / upgrades to address 3 trail improvement projects on the 2021-2025 recreation plan capital improvements list for $15,000. So basically that $40,000 was put on hold for a
I
year.
gotcha, okay.
Now, it'd be nice, I know that Melissa is, you know, she found this AmericanTrails.org grant opportunity just a few weeks ago, and we worked together on that and got that submitted. It was only had like 2 days to get it done. And she got that submitted, and here again, we asked for the maximum amount that you can ask for. 290 some applicants for 50 grand, so not
Yeah,
likely we're
if you don't
getting.
ask for the maximum, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might. get it, so-
Exactly.
So tomorrow you're gonna go ask for this, the rest of the dugout stuff.
Yep.
And according to the last minutes, there's some people that are not supportive moving forward on any of the park projects.
Well, we have some anti-park people. Yeah.
So we're not guaranteed of that 18,000.
Well, it's already in the budget, where the other things were taken out of the budget,
Okay.
but the money's in the budget.
But they have to-
so.
There has to be a vote tomorrow.
Yeah, there has to be a vote. Yeah, yeah, we allocate it, you know, it's appropriated during the budget process, but then to actually spend it, it has to go before the board.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any thing on the dugouts? Park playground. I'm assuming they're talking about Whitewater Park.
Yep, and that got approved at the meeting in April, and so that's well underway. The guy would have liked to pour concrete on Saturday, but we had free camping weekend, so I didn't want that going on in the park. And concrete for putting the swing set in, and then we're also getting the sidewalk on the east side of the bathhouse done too. So it's one trip for the concrete truck, you know, because it's expensive to have concrete truck out. And so anyways, yep, that's underway, and he took the monkey bars home or to his shop, and he's gonna brace those. He's said those are made out of some pretty cheap material. And he's wondering how long they're gonna last, even with the bracing. But I said, well, let's put them in, because that's what we agreed to do, and the merry-go-round will go back in. There's already been, he has took out the trees on the east side of the bathhouse, took that hill down, moved that dirt over to the other side of the road where it was low, took out trees over there last fall, scrubby jack pines that look terrible anyways. And he's got a lot of that graded off. There's still some more grading to do, and he has done already put some black dirt on where he kind of tapered back the banks a little bit. Not all of it needed it, but anyways, so that's coming along. I'm hoping that's gonna be done here shortly.
So
He's got.
moving the swing set, moving the merry-go-round, and
Swing
putting
sets-
both
swing
sets of
sets
monkey
moved,
bars.
It's setting in holes, setting on like concrete or something down there, some kind of block or something. The legs are with holes, so they're ready to.
Oh,
pour.
it's set.
I don't know, those cookies.
Probably.
Yeah, they look rectangular, but anyways, yeah, that's ready to.
And then he's
We're
putting
ready
in
to pour.
both sets of monkey bars.
Yeah, and Melissa had provided a site plan during the budget process with measurements on there of how far apart things need to be and all that. And at first I thought that it was gonna be easier to move, the stones back a little bit. Like we only needed 7 feet for the playground, for the swing set. But then,
That's half that drainage basin, probably.
yeah, not quite half.
Maybe not quite half,
But
but
anyways, everybody
third of it.
agreed that it was gonna be actually easier to move the swing set. So.
so did he I can't remember what we decided. Is he just scooting it back a little bit?
No, it's a different orientation.
Oh, we turned it,
altogether.
didn't we?
Yeah, he turned
Yeah, that's
it
right.
and, he turned it, so it's more an east-west orientation now.
Yeah,
It was
that's right.
north-south. Yeah, and, so yeah. I
Is
would
he
like-
pouring a new pad for the merry-go-round, or is he using that over?
He's gonna see if he can set it in there and.
So he
and-
just pulled it with it on there?
Yeah, he pulled it with it on there and he said,
I was wondering if he could.
he thinks he can and like do something to, secure it down.
Mhm.
If not, he's just gonna pour that again. It's not
Yeah.
very much concrete.
Right.
So, I mean, you guys did it with,
We just mixed it with bags.
yeah,
The
right.
wheelbarrow.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
think we had the cement mixer there, but for
Yeah.
that, but anyways, that's underway and,
Oh, yeah, we did it in the mixer, didn't we?
yeah, Denny went and got that mixer, remember?
But we just used ready mix, I think.
On the, well, I thought you just poured the bags in for like the
That's what I mean. We
legs
just
of the
poured them in
swing
the
set, but
mixture.
I don't think I remember we had the cement mixer there.
Yeah.
Because Denny went and got it from a place up in
Mm-hmm.
Elk Rapids, and I think that's what the base of the merry-go-round got poured with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna look really nice. We need to maybe plant some trees. There's some trees that were left but it's gonna make mowing that whole east side of the bathhouse so much easier. What they did when they built that bathhouse, was they just threw what they took out of the hole. They just threw it over there.
They just pushed it up over.
They never really graded it off that well or anything, and it was really a bugger to mow it, but it needed to be mowed, so it didn't look so scrubby. So that's
Should
gonna be
plant
a
some
lot
grass and
nicer.
stuff in there.
Oh, yeah, they're
Put-
doing all the seeding and mulching and,
Put a picnic table over there.
yeah, it's still got a little bit of a slope to it, but
Does it?
possibly, yeah, we possibly put one there. But yeah, it's a big
Should
improvement.
definitely put some over on the playground somewhere.
One of these days, I'm gonna bring a picture I have of the little tiny rickety playground set that was there when I started
Mhm.
having something to do with the
Remember
park
them
in
little springy
2013.
Those little spring deals
Yeah,
that
it
were
was
over
just
there.
like a backyard thing and it was practically falling apart and there was nothing to it.
Wasn't there two of them little springy horse looking things?
Those were over at High Parade.
Was that where those were?
Mhm,
Yeah. I
yeah,
thought there was some down there too.
I don't recall them down there, but
All right. Anything else? All right, BCNA and Lossy Trail tree removal.
okay, that, I can update you on that. the board approved an agreement and this hazardous tree removal agreement. And then I found a couple more things, just really some like clerical things that Ron didn't have in there. He didn't refer to the tree inventory and the map. There's a tree, like a 4-page tree inventory that Partial Tree Service did. He only referred to the map, so I added the tree inventory in a couple places. And then he didn't have the arborist contact information in there. And he didn't have a signature line for Partial to sign because they're part of this agreement too. This is how we did it back in 2016 for the 2015 storm. And so anyways, I sent that stuff to Ron over the weekend and he said it's got to go back to the board. I didn't change any terms of the contract or anything, so I'm gonna ask the board to approve it tomorrow so we can get that out. I've got,
So Steve Largent,
yeah, he's
mentioned,
on the bidders list.
okay,
Yep, he's already been added. I've already talked to him. We've got,
He's the one that was out there looking at
Yeah.
everything.
I
yeah,
did.
that said that they do that kind of work.
Oh,
which
yeah,
that
yeah.
Sounded great.
yeah, I've talked to him about it.
That's
He,
what Melissa said. He showed
We've
some
got
interest.
like 17, I think we've got 18 people that we're gonna distribute the bid packet to. So we'll get some, and Josh is gonna get it, of course, and this Phil Schaub that gave us an estimate before, Bobby Wentworth over on Skegmont Point Road wants to bid on it. Of course, Steve Largent from the Conservation District and other known tree services that are out there that we sent bid packets to before, like Schillinger Forestry and Deering's Tree Service, Carlson's Tree Service. There's a lot of tree service. Top View, I'm gonna send it to them. I think they're up in Elk Rapids.
Gotcha.
Mike Conlon's not doing it anymore, so he won't get it, but I know there's 18 altogether, 18 or 19.
Okay. All right, Velocity Trail Wetland Bridge Improvements, Largent email. I don't know much about this, just what Melissa told me when I talked to her. I think so. I wasn't able to go.
I got the time wrong, that's why.
Well, I think she sent everybody out this email
Right,
that are notes from the visit.
right.
Um,
It sounded like he said that it looked like as long as you added a culvert, that we could probably get permission to fill the wet area. Which I was thinking the other day, I think a lot of that wet area may have gotten worse after the 2015 storm, because I think they did a lot of chipping and it got put over there, so it's kind of like a sponge.
Mm-hmm. She made it sound like it wasn't too bad when they were out there, when I talked to her on
A
the
little
phone.
short on rain lately, mine wants.
Now, this email that I received from Steve Largent to Melissa, he, in talking about the Lossy Trail, he says, apparently there was a couple other members of his conservation team that went, and he says, if I can just read this, I don't know if, did you guys get this?
Yeah.
You got it, okay, all right, yeah. So he says that the trail is wet and will need fill or extensive boardwalk to make it usable as a recreational trail. In my estimation, the trail will need at least one equalizing culvert. I don't know what that is, but along the stretch that we walked.
It's just to allow the water to move from one side of the path to the other
Yeah,
without eroding or creating a sponge effect.
and see, I think that what I was looking for out of him, I mean, this assessment for sure, but then what can they do to, because he told me before that they have engineering capabilities and all this kind of stuff. And that's the thing that the committee needs help with is, I don't have the expertise to, submit this My Waters permit and stuff like that, which definitely has to be submitted, so, but here again, now we don't really have any money to spend on this. I guess maybe the next thing, maybe Melissa can fill us in public comment, would be to find out how much is it gonna cost to get, to do this work, and can we find it somewhere? Can we find this money somewhere? I'm hopeful that the whole cleanup thing out there isn't gonna cost as much, the storm damage cleanup isn't gonna cost as much as we've set aside. I believe we've set aside 67,000, so we've got about 50 for the actual cleanup itself.
Well,
So-
Melissa said when they were out there that it's Steve, right?
Steve,
Steve said that there was a lot of trees at the arborist mark that he didn't think needed to be taken down.
Steve Largent told me that too, and I don't know if,
Said it seemed like they went way over the top, like they're
And
trying to
remember,
make
there's a
a
couple-
road, not a trail.
yeah, and all I know is that, Josh marked trees out there too, so did some, I don't know which trees they're talking about.
I don't know either.
I do know that Matt's inventory of trees said the trees he marked, he put a ribbon on them, I think, and paint. So those are the ones that he is.
He said that there was one that looked like it was on the other side of the property line that runs through there even.
Oh, really?
Not
Outside of
even
the
on our
66
side.
feet? Oh, yeah, shouldn't be taking that out.
So I don't know.
And I think what's gonna happen is when the bidders get the bid package, and they've got Matt Harrow was the arborist that put together the tree inventory. They'll be calling him, I'm sure, on some of those things and verifying, okay, did you really mean this tree, Who knows, Matt might even be leading a troop of the bidders through there, and
Maybe they'll come in way lower than everybody else.
who knows?
Because that one guy said that if it was left with trees, it would be a better trail, less maintenance than opening it all up wide.
Yeah, because then you're gonna get bushes and all that stuff growing in there.
I don't know. All I know is that for the 2015 storm damage, and I believe Matt was given the same specs, that trees that were on the trail had to be removed, and trees that were within 20 feet of the trail and threatening the trail on either side had to be removed. So I believe that was.
They went way over the top last time, it
or
seemed
pretty
like to me.
close.
Shoot, you could drive a semi down there and turn it around and come back out.
Yeah,
On that one part where they had the logs lined all the way around that big sweeping corner,
Yeah.
it was way wider than it used to be.
yeah.
But
I don't know, but
I don't know. And then I remember Melissa talking about the footbridge, that they thought they could help us with some plans for what we should do for that they have
yeah.
similar.
That's kind of a good,
Bridges.
it was interesting that I read that and I thought that's kind of a good and bad thing. I mean, the bridge is a little on the narrow side right now. It'd be nice if it was wider, but they suggested making it wide enough for a side-by-side or a UTV, which is a good and bad thing, right?
Well, you can always put a
Helps with
barricade
trail.
on each end.
Or a
Yeah.
snowmobile,
Helps with
yeah.
maintenance, but it kind of aggravates this whole,
Well, you could always put a barricade so they can't fit unless you open it
yeah.
somehow.
I mean, I just think that right now, like, I'm just observing this, okay? From
Yeah.
being around Sand Lakes area and you
Mhm.
live out there, like all of a sudden these razors and side by sides and stuff are becoming very popular.
Mhm. Yeah,
Not so much four wheelers anymore.
no, everybody's changing over to the side by sides now. She didn't talk too much about the beach when we were talking.
Yeah, just reading this, obviously it's a larger, more difficult project compared to the other stuff we looked at.
If someone in the audience has a comment, would you take a comment from someone in the audience?
I would, but I don't know if I'm allowed to.
You're
It's up to the committee.
you're the acting chair. You can do whatever you want to do.
Melissa, you still there?
Yes, sir. Good everyone.
Can you tell us more about this, the beach project, the Whitewater Beach, when you were meeting with Steve?
Sure. So the beach basically is full of clay that he felt was going to continue to be a problem. Unless you either A, do some serious excavating, of which you still don't even know what you're going to get down to and may continue to be a problem, or B, utilize more of a platform with dock, basically going down steps into the water and having an upper level be your beach area. So you stop the erosion, and then you can use control erosion measures down below, the deck or platform that will contain the washout better. I did get an estimate from him in terms of the beach sand itself, not an estimate, I shouldn't say, but square footage or whatever. He didn't feel that that was a long-term solution, that if we wanted to do that for short term, that's obviously up to the board, but that it's going to eventually wash away again, by putting, but he did say to help mediate it, we could do a sand or small pebbles at the front end of where the water laps, to help slow down the wave action. So those are just some of the things, tactics that we could try to do, but ultimately he didn't feel that trying to make it into a beach, a full-on beach, all the way accessing down is not really the right long-term solution. We did look across, back over by the campsites to see what he thought on that side. And unfortunately, the way that is facing that beach would really never be a beach. There's just too much wave action that makes it a rocky area as well. Naturally, you have really big rock boulders once you get into the water, and that's gonna always be like that, unfortunately. So his suggestion is, if we did want to make it a beach area on that side, similarly, basically make a upper beach area. So we'd bring in tons of sand and obviously do the weed mat stuff and whatnot, but have it so you have a upper level beach and then have a platform stepping down to a dock station of some kind where people could then get down into the water, accessing it like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You got any more comments you want to make on any of the other parts of your tour that you did with Steve?
Well, going back to the trail removal portion of my visit with him, the only thing, he doesn't obviously have a price right now. The walking of the trail was kind of to get them to start brainstorming, but they'll have to do measuring and things like that before they can really get us down that road. But I do feel like if we continue working with them, I think their group, has a very, very good value for the money. The equipment basically is paid for, like that's through funding from the government. Like it's so he can come on public land and use that equipment, and there's no fee, there's no charge for that. So it's literally just labor, time, material of other things, like sand and the culvert and things like that. So, but essentially, I think we're not going to be able to get to a point where we can necessarily have the funds available. Obviously, given the tree removal funds has snaked all of our capital project money this year. But I think one goal we should probably try to look at is if we can continue working with them and developing a game plan approach, and maybe get a budget type of an item where we can make this project viable for the board to look at. If we can get their approval before March, then we at least have a chance to put it into the DNR website. So that's kind of if we want to try to get funds for next year to do the project, you know, getting matching funds from the Michigan.gov, whatever the site is nowadays, it's something different. But that would be, I think, probably our best bet to try to coordinate that. And
So
Try to-
Melissa, why wouldn't you just go ahead and apply for the permit with Steve's help through the DNR website? Why would, I mean, we've been talking about this for like 3 years. I mean, why wouldn't you just go ahead and kind of jump in the water and apply for the permit and see what
you're
reaction?
talking about the consulting permit?
Not the consulting firm, you.
No, the consulting permit, like it's the $150 or whatever. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We can, and that's part of moving the project down the road, right? You gotta get some buy-in from the Eagle.
Yeah, because you have to have that permit in order to do the construction.
No,
Yeah, that's not a permit. The
no, it's not a permit.
$150 gets you, that's a consultation with the DNR, I think, isn't that, Melissa?
Yes,
The permit, you have to have engineered drawings. So you don't have any money to spend on engineered drawings, so
Yeah,
you
but
can't apply for the permit. The $150 is just basically to get a consultation with the DNR.
I think it'd be a great question to ask the DNR if you really need an engineered drawing to just establish fill. I know you have to have points marked out so that it's clear where you're allowed to fill. But I'd be shocked at that because you're not really erecting anything. You're just filling and putting a culvert in.
Well, but the problem is that you're messing with wetlands and the DNR has all the control on wetlands. And when I contacted the DNR, what was it, a year or two ago about that, I got the standard form email back from Neil Schock, I think the guy's name is, that has the steps that you go through to apply through My Waters. You can't do anything out there without a permit. And then you can't even apply for the permit till you have engineered plans to upload to My Waters. So it would be
Okay,
a matter
so
of getting engineered.
I
Those
guess
are gonna
it'd be
be a
great
couple
to
grand.
dust off those documents and just start down the path because you can't get anywhere unless you start. You have to start.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will tell you what you're required to do. But it would be
I'm
so much
happy to
more
s-
usable to people. to
I
have
will,
that.
I will re-forward that email to everybody.
yeah, no, Linda, I agree with you. I mean, we do need to be able to that's what I'm saying is I think that continuing to work with Steve and his group, getting their thoughts on how to mediate certain areas and what the project scope should look like, bringing in Eagle to look at doing that pre-consulting, I don't think is a bad idea because I think they'll have a buy-in on whether the culvert to do a, what was that term he used?
An culvert,
Equalizing, yeah, an equalizing culvert.
asset
Because it's
controlled way.
essentially you have two wetlands, you know, on either side of the walk trail that right now is bridging it, right? So it's going over so that's what he's talking about, equalization. But anyway, so getting Eagle to buy into it is a good thing. And I think that would be worthwhile to make that consultation. But to get it truly funded, in order for us to try to go into the Michigan DNR's website to get any of their funding, we have to have a project basically ready to go and approved because they do a lot of matching funds. So that's my only point is I think if we can continue this process, maybe we can get to that point by the end of the year. So
Maybe if we can get this thing out for the tree bid and get bids back and see what our bid's gonna come in at, maybe if it comes in low, maybe we could have opportunity to do something else.
And the beauty of Melissa getting Steve Largent involved is because they can work on projects for public entities. They can't work on projects for, private entities, homeowners or whatever, but they can work on projects for public entities. at quite a cost savings over hiring other types of contractors.
Mhm.
But they're gonna need permits too. I mean, they can't go out there and do anything without a permit either. So,
They can
you know.
probably help us a little bit with that too, I would imagine.
I mean, their crew, he said their crew, I think they only charge like $40 an hour or something like that. It's very reasonable,
Right.
you know.
All right. Anybody else got any comments about the Lossy Trail wetland and bridge improvements? All right, Park Beach site visit, we kind of already went over that. I don't know, what, do you guys have any input on what we should do with the beach? As far as, I kind of feel like we should put sand in there just temporarily for now.
I do have some budget in the money to put some sand in there, but you can't really dump it directly down in the water because the water's still lapping up to the filter fabric down there.
Right,
So it's just gonna carry the sand out, but the sand can be put up higher, you know, and I like the idea of building some steps actually down to the water. See the way, if you're standing at the top of the beach right now and you look down, you can't really see that there's a drop off down there. There's a drop off about this far.
that's what I
down
mean,
there
why
where
can't
the
we dump that
water-
sand and kind of taper that top edge off a
Well,
little bit, like it used
see
to
the
be?
beach, you know, here's the drop off. Well, the beach used to go out like this, but see, the water is still coming up there.
Mhm.
So you can dump sand and water, but it's just gonna take it out.
I wonder if
It's
we
not
should
gonna
do
stay
like
there.
what he said and put pea stone out around the edge, make it a couple feet thick and then put the sand behind it.
He said about putting the pea gravel in there to slow down the wave action.
Right,
So it's the wave action is still gonna,
I'm just talking something temporary for the next year or so, so we can have time to come up with a plan of how to
No,
fix it.
I get it.
permanently.
I get it. I just don't want to dump sand at the water's edge and it's just gonna go out into the lake.
What
You
if
know
we
what I'm
had
saying?
that band of pea gravel out in front of it?
But the water's still gonna come up. I mean, there's only about so much room to put pea gravel there. And I get it. You could have some go in the water too. But I mean, if you dump sand on top of pea gravel, the water's still gonna wash the
It's
sand
still gonna
away.
help some though.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
Right.
fix it, no, but you're gonna make it better than it
you
is
can't,
now.
yeah, you can't really fix it right now till the water goes down. It's just, you know.
The water's not gonna go down though. It's set level that's regulated by the dam.
It does fluctuate a little bit,
Not a lot though,
yeah,
Very little.
very little.
I
A few
watch it
inches.
every day, very little.
Yeah,
but anyways, I don't know what it is, but it's eroded the beach back a long ways.
yeah.
So it's definitely, the water is getting closer, but we'll still put some sand down there. We're gonna get some sand. We'll put some sand down there. You actually can dump the sand at the top.
I was gonna say.
I think you can just dump the sand at the
Just let
top.
it
and
fall on
as-
its own down there and kind
Well,
of,
as people take it down with their foot traffic, and you know, you can probably rake some down or something. you
Probably
know,
need
but- What's that?
several loads, I would think.
Yeah, I don't know how much. We only have about so much in the budget for it,
I bet you need 5, 6 loads
but
at the top of that hill there
yeah,
to taper it off. It's pretty steep.
But the park's gonna take care of that.
park will pay for that.
Yeah, I mean, but you'll just have that, they'll just be.
So something's gonna be done.
At
then
some
least.
point, yeah,
Right.
we'll do it. We just got the park open this last weekend and
Yeah. Okay,
Cheryl, the only comment I guess I would make is, well, two things. On the beach visit with Steve is, if you did want to put in the pea gravel as a means to try to hold back or retain the beach a little bit longer, you technically put it in the water, you do need to get Eagle. I don't know if it's a permit or whatever, but he did say you should consult Eagle on that. And the
Okay.
second thing is, there is poles up right now that I'm assuming held some orange snow fencing or something of the sort. That is no longer, the fencing is no longer there, so you just have these poles sticking up, and that is a very serious hazard, in my opinion. If you can put a sign up or put the fencing back up or something, you do get more snow dumped in there. That is a, like you said, that drop off where that basically, you know,
Yeah,
it's hard and it's a steep walk if someone accidentally trips.
yeah, exactly. No, we didn't have fencing up. We did have caution tape, but we could probably get some of that roll fencing. Like I don't know, it's fabric or something, or nylon. Isn't there nylon fencing you can get or something to
Maybe.
keep people,
Yeah,
you know, running down and.
right.
running
Just a
down.
thought, something to make people see it and stop so they don't twist an
Right.
ankle or something.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Any other comments on the park beach? Appointment of new PRAC member. I don't know a lot about this. I know that, weren't we talking about?
Well, we don't do that anyway.
Well, Amber Voice
Amber
had
Voice was a.
applied, and I
Yeah.
put her application in last month's board packet, and I was very disappointed to see that we don't have any appointments for Parks and Rec members in our meeting packet for tomorrow, because I know that she's interested, and I think she would be very good on the committee. And
Ron has to do that.
yeah, he has to bring the appointment, so. And he's met her, and, you know, she's been here numerous times with the banners and stuff like that, so I don't know what the holdup is.
Okay. New business. High Prairie Playground Sand and General Cleanup, May 14th, sorry, 9 AM to noon. I know we ordered sand for that, correct?
Yeah, Melissa did.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, there's some, I was walking around the other day at High Prairie, and the fence line would be on the main ball field on the east side. It'd be the south fence line is all falling off the post,
You mean the back fence, behind the batter?
right by the batting cage, that fence.
Right by the batting cage.
That
Oh,
was,
that
that for the
fence?
ball field,
Really?
that has the yellow tube across the top of it, kind of.
Oh, really? What's happening with that?
It came disconnected from the post and it's all kind of curling over in one spot. It needs to be reattached to the post.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
wanted to stop by Gilroy's and get some stuff to fix that, so they'd have it for the cleanup day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, do you
Yeah,
wanna do
That's
that?
those wire hooks, right?
Yeah, that's nothing fancy.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fine if you
Okay.
want to get something.
And then I was gonna stop and get some zip ties for the net for the batting cage also. Cause
Okay.
a lot of those fell off.
Oh, did they?
I
Okay.
think we just need to use something heavier than what we used last time.
So you're gonna get hooks to reattach fencing in front of the
Batting cage.
Batting cage,
batting cage.
yep.
And then also zip ties for the net,
Mm-hmm.
for the batting cage net. Okay.
What is with that burn pile?
I wanted to talk about that too.
Okay.
I know that they cut the stuff down in the fire department, tried to burn it, and that's about all I know.
We have already approved the removal of the burn pile, and there's gonna be some gravel added to that parking lot over there. Brandon, that was storm damaged trees that came down at that park. And so we had asked Brandon to burn it. Well, it was burning it one day, but then a neighbor didn't like the smoke, so he had to put the fire out. And that was last fall. And so anyways, in the meantime, we wanted to put some gravel on that parking lot over there, and we got a quote from Elmer's for that and getting rid of the burn pile. So they have the signed proposal. We're just waiting for them to tell us when they're gonna be out to do it.
They're just graveling just that spot or?
No,
Kind of
they're
dressing up the whole parking lot.
they're graveling really, it's gonna be about the whole parking lot. They're gonna come in both entrances and go and meet, it's gonna be a big U-shaped gravel thing, and then they're gonna feather it out on those like side roads.
Wonder if they'll get rid of all that overgrown stuff that's grown into the parking lot.
I don't think it's gonna get rid of all that stuff.
I think that's gonna happen on Saturday
Spring cleanup.
between 9
Oh,
and
I'm
12.
talking about the grass that's
Not
growing in the
even-
gravel.
Oh,
It's not really gravel anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what you do about that. I mean, spray Roundup on it or something. I mean,
It would help.
or grade it.
You won't get it all out now.
Yeah.
So Cheryl, is there a plan to put the tennis nets up?
Yep, they're going up this next weekend.
And did you get new ones now? Because they've had holes in them for a couple years now.
Yeah, no,
Last
I
time.
haven't ordered new ones, but if you want to look up, if you want to send me a link for some tennis nets you want ordered, I'll order 'em. The last time I didn't look it up, there was some guy from from the school or something like that recommended the kind of net that we bought, and then the mice got in the shed over there.
of course.
Of course, yeah. We think we have that problem solved, but yeah, if you want to send me a link for that.
Yeah, I'm seeing a ton of them, like 200, between $200 and $300. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll find that money in the budget somewhere.
Yeah, it's-
And you said something about the locks over there for the bathrooms, I'm assuming you're talking about? Are you still planning on doing those or no?
Yes,
The electric ones?
yeah, electronic locks. Yes, we are planning on doing that. We just got the building open.
Oh, I'm just asking, just so we know
But-
what's happening.
Yeah, it was something that, what we have to do is, it's kind of labor intensive to have a ranger stop there in the morning on their way to the township park, and then stopping there at night when it's really dark out and stuff. I don't really want.
I think it's a great idea, but it just
Female
makes it a whole
rangers
thing
there.
easier for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. No, we just need to call the company and get it set up.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean those bathrooms should not be checked.
Oh, yeah, they'll be checked. They'll be checked.
Don't
They may not be checked every day because they're not cleaned every day,
ask you how often are they cleaned?
They're cleaned a couple times a week.
Gotcha. And then another thing I noticed over there, I know we talked about it, did we ever get the tennis courts and stuff cleaned?
We did get those cleaned a couple, 3 years ago by, I think the guy's name was John Henschel or something like that.
Okay,
Um,
they look bad again.
right, I
They're
know,
just
somebody
black.
else.
Why do they get
mentioned-
so, I don't get why they get
Black,
so
it's
black.
like a mold or something. I think part of
Yeah.
it is the grass is higher than the surface of the court.
Does the water
in some
sit in there when it
areas.
rains or something?
I believe so.
That's the only thing I could think of too.
So it's like mold.
Yeah, we didn't put anything in the budget for that this year. It's something that might have to wait till next year. That's a good budget item for next year.
Well, Melissa and I were talking and she said we might be able to get someone to work on it at the cleanup day, but she wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what the guy used on him. I wasn't overly impressed with what he did.
I mean,
It didn't seem like.
pressure washed
lasted
it, it
real
seemed
long.
like it would help a little bit at least.
Yeah,
It's gotta be better than the way it is
Oh,
now.
yeah.
and I think that's what he used, is a pressure washer and some kind of
Yeah,
material. I'm not sure what,
yeah,
but it seemed like it came back quick.
yeah.
This mildew or whatever that is.
Alright, there's a lot of trees in the back ball field
Uh-huh.
on the west end there. There's a lot of trees growing. There's one tree that fell on the fence, on the back fence,
Yeah,
pretty good size one. And there's a lot of bushes and stuff going through that fence.
yeah,
The front one's not too bad. We got a lot of it the last couple of years. doing
yeah,
stuff, but
exactly.
It still needs a little cleanup, but the
Yeah.
back one's pretty bad.
Yeah, and I think Amber and her dad, didn't they work on a little bit of the back one?
I think so. The other thing I was gonna ask is the guy that mows there, it seems like he stays away from the fence. He doesn't mow up tight to it and weed whip it or nothing. So the stuff just keeps growing.
You mean on the inside of the fence?
Yeah,
Well, I can talk to him about that.
I mean, he stays this far away from it all the way around.
He should be mowing right up to the fence.
Well,
Really what we
if
wanted.
you go over there and look, it's obvious that it's
Yeah,
not the
okay, I'll
case.
say something to him
The
about
front
that.
one he doesn't do as bad, but the back one is
The
pretty bad.
goal with, what's on the outside of the fence, and Ben did do some of that cleanup a couple of years ago on the main fence,
Uh-huh.
but didn't finish it. The goal really was to get a path around the outside of the
That'd be
fence
the best.
that is the mower width, the width of his mower, so that when he comes and mows, he can go there,
Mhm.
you know, maybe once a month or something, he goes outside the fence and just keeps everything from growing back. You know, and then you won't ever have that problem again.
If we got the stuff cut out of the fence and you got someone with like I don't know who, but if you got someone with a bobcat with the grinder on the front to go through there and make a couple passes around there.
Yeah, you
That'd be the
know,
best thing you could do.
we've rented a Bobcat before,
Yeah.
and, you know, if you can, if Gennops has like the attachment for that, or TC Rental,
Right.
either one, we've rented from both places. If
Yeah.
they had the attachment for that, we could have him do it,
Mhm.
or have somebody do it that knows how to run one of those things,
Right.
you know.
Gotcha. All right. Melissa, do you want to add do you have any more comments on the May 14th work bee?
Well, only that, to say, you know, thank you to, I had a gracious donor, called Gleaner. They're a local arbor. Gleaner is an insurance company that does multiple different insurance packages, but so this local arbor has been looking for small community sized projects, and specifically they like to impact things that affect kids in the community, and so this project really fit nicely with their target. So they have said that they would donate the material cost, the sand, for the sand to get dumped, and the material itself, which is going to be a value of $800. So that's no cost to the township. And they're also bringing in lunch for all the volunteer workers, because the event's only running from 9 to noon on Saturday. And then they've also been working alongside the local Young Marines group in Traverse City, and the Young Marines also provides a lot of, you know, local community volunteer hours and different projects that they do. So this was also a nice size project for them to come in. So we're going to have, I don't know how many helpers, but we're going to have a group of Young Marines, which hopefully, you know, weed pulling and sand spreading, that's kind of the major intent of this project. But if we have enough people and we have enough, you know, community members come in and help, you know, maybe we can get some of the other things, other cleanups stuff done. I have a whole list of items. I don't know, Brandon, you and I talked about that, you know, kind of in priority of what we'd like to have done. Amber and her mom
We're losing you.
Cheryl, how do we have a letter written to whoever donated this thing? You know, I mean, is there
Donated what?
The sand.
the saying, I mean, is there something that
Yeah, we
you
should
can do
acknowledge
or-
that.
or on stationery? or-
Yes, we should, if Melissa will.
We lost you,
provide the
Melissa, about 30
address.
seconds ago.
Yep,
Then-
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Melissa, did you hear that?
I only heard bits of it, Tom.
If you could get Cheryl the name and address of this person, she can figure out how to get him a nice thank you letter on township stationery and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely do that. That's a good idea. the flower that I was saying up front, I'm not sure if that's gonna be part of what we're doing, or if Amber and her mom specifically, if she wants to donate some of her time to help clean that bed up. Part of the news, I did put a little PDF flyer together that
Oh,
No.
say it again.
whoever signed up. Oh, man. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I have full bars. This is ridiculous. But anyway,
I'm sorry, did you say you were at the bar?
I know.
What?
I wish I was at the full bar.
I'm just here, that's
I
all.
thought she said she was at the 4th bar.
At the 4th bar, okay.
Oh my God. No wonder you're having a hard time.
Right, I wish. No, but so I don't know if that's gonna be part of what to do that. But I did put in the newsletter about that Della put out today, that if people have their own flower beds that have perennials that are overgrowing, that they could, donate those for that day too. So we'll see.
Is there anything else you can think of that we need other than the stuff we talked about?
Melissa, just as long as they don't put any perennials where we're mowing. Because they're just gonna get mowed over, They can be put somewhere where we're not mowing, and that would be fine.
She didn't hear you.
I think she was talking about,
I'll tell her later.
I think she was trying to clean up up by the monument and stuff up front. Put stuff
Yeah,
up there.
but see, we're mowing that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought.
We-
that-
Yeah, there's
got
still
more
a
out
spot
to-
kind of where you're not mowing though, where it's kind of humped up around the monument. That you could do a little bit of something, maybe, not big,
Well,
but.
the grass is supposed to be going up to the monument.
Is
That's
it?
how it was planted. Yeah, we took all that out of there because we had no one to maintain it.
Oh,
The Sweetwater Evening Garden Club, they quit doing it like 5 years ago, and it
Yeah.
didn't look good for a couple, 3 years, and then
Mhm.
finally we just took it out. I called like 5 landscaping, Barker Creek and Pine Hill Nursery and some people that I know do that kind of work, and no one would take it on. 365 outdoor, no one would take it on. We just had it all taken out because it was so overgrown.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about? Next meeting, June 13th. We got any more public comment?
Yeah, the only other thing, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, the only other thing that I wanted to comment back when you guys were talking about the bids for the dugout material, I did ask Lynn to look over the bids between Northern Builders and the Preston Feathers. And he said that it's hard to tell because they do call out things differently. And he was wondering if one has a different size beam. The beams are a pretty big dollar value. And he did say that it depends on what the engineer actually puts on his prints. So that may fluctuate the bid a little bit, just as an FYI.
Yeah.
All right. How about adjournment? Is everybody ready to
How
go?
about if we actually did public comment?
We just did.
Tom, do you have any public comment? Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned at 8:09.
8:09, the meeting's adjourned. Tremendous job.
Good.
Thank you, Brandon.
No problem.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Yep. No problem. We'll see you next month. Well, I'll see you on Saturday, maybe, actually.
Yep. Anyone who wants to come with, gloves and shovels and rakes. Love to see you.
All right. Sounds good. See you later.
And Della did get those out to everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. She sent the email out today.